Now, the Try Guys, like I said, they were BuzzFeed employees. They then branched off. They started doing their own thing. They left BuzzFeed. They made their own channel called The Try Guys. And boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, minus the ring. You know what? I didn't even clean last episode. We're here, back at it for another episode of The Realest Podcast, episode 47, banner right there. I have not, cleaned this room at all. This room is a mess. There are so many chairs in here. There is so many cords. There's a ton of confetti everywhere. Just like this one, just like all the ones on this desk, all the ones on this floor, especially all the ones up on top of the lockers. If you guys watched the last episode, you would know that there are a crap ton of stuff everywhere. We still have plastic in here. If you guys know, you know. However, we're back here for another episode. First of all, I'm very, very excited to talk about this episode because I feel it's one of those episodes that I'm going into where I'm not like, do we have any topics to talk about, you know? And I feel when I was coming up with some of the topics for this episode, I was like, yes, there's so much good stuff to talk about, especially with not having a podcast that is more topic driven and update driven, where the last one was an interview. It was one where a lot of people are basically, we're talking about certain things about them and not so much just general topics that are happening in the moment. But with that, Nationers, again, welcome back. I do want to thank you guys so much for all the brand new subscribers on the channel. If you guys do not know, we are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which I truly believe that we could hit. So if you guys want to help this channel out, help us grow, help us reach 1,000 subscribers, that would be absolutely freaking amazing. So if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to all the people listening via audio. I appreciate you guys. I always see that you guys are playing this. So shout out to all you guys. Let's just hop right into it, Nationers. You guys have probably seen the title. Yes, I come up with the title, usually before the episode, because I want to at least talk about something that is pertinent to this episode. I don't just want to be like, well, I think the sky is green and the grass is blue, and yeah, I come prepared, right? To some extent, right? And you guys may have seen in the YouTube sphere, probably even beyond the YouTube sphere, because there were massive articles written about this breakup. Okay, and no, I'm not talking about Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber. I'm not talking about a breakup there, okay? Or Taylor Swift's boyfriend and her and them broke up. That didn't happen. They didn't break up, okay? The Try Guys. If you guys don't know who the Try Guys are, they were a group or rather friends, people who made BuzzFeed videos back in the day. They had a series where these Try Guys, the four of them, we had Eugene, Keith, Zach, and Ned. Ned's going to be very important in this story. If you guys obviously don't know, I'm about to explain why Ned is so important in this story. And for reasons that are still a little bit unclear, we kind of know the generalness of most things. Obviously, this being a legal matter, maybe not obviously, but I'll explain why it's a legal matter. Ned Fulmer had an affair, had a sexual relationship, or I don't know if it was a sexual relationship. He was caught cheating with one of the employees at the Try Guys LLC. Now, the Try Guys, like I said, they were BuzzFeed employees. They then branched off. They started doing their own thing. They left BuzzFeed. They made their own channel called The Try Guys. And boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, minus the ring. Ned Fulmer and a fellow employee, Alexandria, were caught cheating making out. It seemed like he was under the influence, but it also feels like there was some things even prior to this one video that got out. And yeah, it's, I guess in the gist of it, Ned has a wife and a kid. I don't know if he has another kid, but I know he has at least one kid. Alexandria has known her boyfriend, aka her fiance, for the past 10 years. For the past 10 years. They went to college together. They were dating in high school. They were in a relationship even beyond all that. So not only is like Ned losing a significant other, but Alexandria is also losing a significant other. And it's wild because I'd watched, just like anyone else out there who was invested in this Try Guys breakup. My hair is down today, which a lot of people say I look like Jesus when I have my hair down. I don't know, but every time I have it down, all the comments say Jesus Jared. And there's no comma. It's Jesus Jared. So there's that. Just wanted to mention that for anyone unaware, and why there might be like I might be like stopping to pause because there's hair in my face the entire time. So a part of this allegations, there was some videos that came out on Reddit, on just like different things that you feel like things would be leaking, like Twitter was a main face. Reddit was probably the catalyst to a lot of this, and unfortunately, this was not new. So for anyone that has been invested into this, maybe watch like the Try Guys announcement, talking about like, hey, we're moving on without Ned. He will be in maybe like an upcoming video because we simply just cannot edit him out. And we do have brand obligations a part of that. So we, it's just as rough for us as it is you guys. Boom, bada bing, minus the ring. And they also released a podcast. And this podcast is about an hour and 13 minutes long. And in this podcast, the Try Guys, well, really just like another coworker who I don't know his name, but also Keith and Zach were a part of this podcast. We're talking about kind of like the inception point of when they figured this, affair and cheating had gone on, right? And I was actually quite shocked myself when I heard that the allegations and kind of like miscode of conduct in the workplace was during Labor Day weekend, which was actually by far the most bombshell thing I would have never thought. Like, minus the whole like cheating thing, like that was the one thing that shocked me, right? Was that it happened like a month ago. And it's not shocking to me that they didn't really like act on it right away, because it's like, that is very serious. Like, Zach and Keith had mentioned, primarily Zach, he's like, well, obviously we would have liked that not to get out, and just kind of move on and be like, hey, we're just announcing this. Here it is. We're moving on now, right? But there were videos that had already been on the internet, and Keith was like, well, even if we tried taking those down, people will probably save that and we'll just repost it. That is just the simple truth to all of this. So videos were out. And so they were messaging, their lawyers, like, how do we legally do this? Like, what are we allowed to say, right? Like, it is such a wild thing, because it's not just casual friends just making videos. Like, these are employees who work for a company, and they're a boss. Potential boss. I don't know what their label is under their contract, but like somebody who has a significant share of the company is screwing around with an employee. Like it's just like if Jeff Bezos was screwing around with the Amazon worker. Like, that's your boss. That's a CEO, So it's very interesting. I'm taking off these headphones, man. I'm taking off these headphones. I'm moving my hair back. It's just too much. It's too much with all this hair. Yeah, people keep telling me to cut it. I'm not cutting it, okay? So I guess I'm probably missing a lot of stuff just off recollection, but it is very interesting because, like, what, like, do you do? Like, cheating's not okay, first and foremost, right? Like, that's just not okay. But, like, I don't know the circumstances. Like, that's not my place to say. Like imagine, and I think a handful of people who have been, I guess, commentating on this matter have had, I think, a valid opinion in my eyes where it's like, I don't know, maybe, like, it was something that, was not, like, destined to happen, but, like, maybe there's something beyond, like, obviously what we see on the screen, like, maybe somebody's just getting abused, or, like, somebody is, like, it's just not okay. Like, it's coming from both sides of the spectrum, both parties, but I also feel as if it's, like, not okay just to do that, Like, I think it was tough because for somebody like Ned, who portrayed, like, this, like, homebody, it was like, oh my God, I'd do anything for my wife, my wife, my wife. Poor Ariel. Poor Ariel. Like, personally, like, it's easy to point the finger and to be like, like, oh, like, Ned did such a bad thing, right? Like, and just, like, focus on the bad guy, right? In this case, focus on the protester that's streaking across the NFL, an NFL football field, right? But at the same time, you also have to realize, like, that also has an impact on his wife, probably soon to not be wife, but regardless, and his kid, like, that's the tough part, and, like, even the significant other, of Alexandria's fiance, who they've been dating for 10 years. Like, imagine, like, after 10 years, it's like, sorry, I was sleeping with another man. Like, that's rough. That's rough. I don't know exactly their ages, or, like, like, if it was like she was like 26 and he was like 35. Like, I don't know that. I don't really know how that would even contribute to all of this, but I'm sure, like, I'm probably not the most well-versed person to talk about this. Like, I'm invested enough to at least explain it to like my mom, and I guess you're my mom because I'm explaining it to you, but hopefully my mom is watching this. She always watches these. So yeah, that was just so interesting. Like, I saw some stuff on Reddit, and then also saw, like, a Twitter thread of just, like, somebody, like, it was like Ned Fulmer is over party, or, like, Ned is over party, or Ned Fulmer exposed. Like, that was their @ and then also their name on there. So that was very interesting, and it was just, like, this long list of things, like, evidence. And I guess once that kind of really released, then PR teams were like, okay, it's time to pull the trigger. And so both companies, both sides of the party, Ned, Ariel, just saying, like, thank you so much for the overwhelming support, because it, makes sense. And then also the Try Guys had released, like, somewhat of a statement. I don't know if Alexandria has. I did read a comment, a part of a video that at least came out, like, a few days ago, like 2-3 days ago as of recording this. And it was like, it's just like, the comment was, it's disappointing that she hasn't apologized to Ariel. But I'm like, has Ned apologized to Alexandria's ex-fiance? Like, is that, like, a thing? Like, and mind you, it's kind of weird because, like, even when I'm explaining this, I don't exactly know, like, what happened. Like, if I saw, like, I saw the screenshot apparently of them, like, kissing, but there wasn't a video attached to it. Like, I didn't see the video. Like, if I saw, like, somebody high up, like, cheating on, like, no, I'll put this into perspective. Like, when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock, it was like, imagine I was talking about that event, but didn't know the joke that led to it, nor ever saw the slap. I just saw the photo of, like, Chris Rock's face, like, way down, and then, like, Will Smith's, like, finger, his whole hand, why finger? His hand coming across his face, like, and then I just never saw the slap. So that was, I never actually saw the video or like things that were out there. I just kind of heard. And so this is also a byproduct of not doing my research, but I don't know if I want to do my research on this. Like, I don't feel like it's my place to like try and dig up like this video or find it. Like, I feel like it just needs to fall in my lap and just be there. And I'll be like, oh, this is the video. Whereas I'm not like, oh my God, I need to find this video. Like, I'm not going to share it, but like for the sake of talking about it, I feel like I don't want to actively go out and search for it, but I'd rather it just fall into the palm of my hands. So there's that. I have a hair in my mouth. Speaking of people who are getting exposed, Dream, oh Dream, Mr. Clay. Dream exposed his face, which is weird to say expose his face. He did a face reveal. Dream did a face reveal. And very interesting on all fronts because, like, I personally was a little confused when I first saw like the Dream face reveal, like reaction, like stuff on Twitter. Like, it was really interesting because I was like, okay, but why is Addison Rae reacting to this? Like, why is Larry reacting to this? Like, why is KSI reacting to this? Like, I was really confused why a lot of these celebrities were reacting to this. I'm like, is it? I mean, yes, this is marketing, but I'm like, do they have the same audience as you? I don't know, and I don't think so. But I did think that when the video got premiered, so there's a premiere video, and so like a premiere video has like a countdown, and then it pops into like the scene. The scene is basically like Dream, like, oh my God, like, should I do it? Like, standing up. So we kind of got to see his full body, which we already kind of knew what it looked like. He was a scrawnier, taller guy. We just didn't really know what his face looked like, which I never really get why, like, people are super infatuated with faces. Mind you, like, faces are one of the biggest things that we can, like, either resemble or we can kind of like remember. Like, I don't remember like people's feet. Like, I just don't. I don't remember people's hands, you know, like maybe the size of their hands if we were to compare it. But like, you remember eyes, you remember mouths, you remember what they look like, their hair. So, but I just never understood why like people are so like, oh my God, I need a face reveal. I need a face reveal. It's killing me that you haven't shown your face. So that's a little concerning to me. Like, maybe I should do a face reveal. Maybe I should. However, Dream did a full face reveal. Really cool. I guess it's almost like, it's kind of weird because, like, you hear the voice, and then you kind of, like, think of, I, like, thought of Dream as, like, the green Minecraft character. And so, like, I just, like, thought of that. And, like, when he started talking behind the mask, I was like, I can envision what his face looks like now because I saw kind of the hair, you know, I saw his hands, and then he pulled down the mask and he's like, this is me. I'm Clay. You may know me as Dream, which I actually know him as Dream, not Clay. So there's that. But, yeah, that was a mildly, not even mildly, wildly successful face reveal. Probably one of the better ones, I'd say. Like Scarce has done one. I've done one. Okay. I've done one before. Don't make me do it again. Okay. So there's that. There's obviously like a whole bunch of stuff that kind of came with it. And yeah, I think it was a very successful face reveal. And it's nice because now he's able to meet his friends. You know, he's able to go out in public to some extent. And I actually thought it was interesting because for Dream, who had just done a face reveal, had mentioned inside of the video where he does the face reveal that he couldn't really go out places because it's kind of like trying to find like a serial killer, like, but you know their voice, right? That's kind of what this was. It's like a serial killer you don't know their face of, but you know their voice, right? You don't want to get caught, right? You don't want to get caught. Your goal is like, I guess the fear, maybe not goal. The fear is that if you go outside and you go to a park, you go to like, I don't know, like Chick-fil-A, Raising Cane's, like a fast food, the cinema, the arcade, like, I don't know, just some place where there might be like a younger demographic, somebody who would recognize the voice, right? Because, mind you, we don't know what he looks like, right? So, like, it's the voice that we're going to pick up on, That's what we're going to pick up on. So, in a way, it's also just, like, collateral damage because, like, you don't mean any harm to just, like, hear it, but it's like, oh, my God, you're the dream guy. You're the dream guy. And then for people to then, like, maybe sneak a photo and then to then, obviously, post it and be like, guys, that guy over there, yep, that's Dream. I just heard his voice. That's him. I should have taken a video instead of a picture. And I look like a complete idiot. So here's a selfie of me looking like a complete idiot. So yeah, and I thought that was actually really, really interesting dilemma because it just was a dilemma. So very, very interesting to say the least with that. And I thought it was a pretty good video. I saw it when it was at like 50,000 views because I think the premiere had just ended. And like the premiere kind of counts like the views and then it starts getting pushed to everyone after. So that's pretty interesting. So yeah. But what's not interesting and quite disappointing, Chris Pratt. Mind you, Chris Pratt has been on a lot of scrutiny for maybe his political affiliation. Like Hollywood's a pretty liberal, democratic, they have a lot of people who lean that way. And I don't want to get political, but I think a lot of people kind of outlie Chris because he is a little bit more right-leaning, conservative-esque. And mind you, like he's played some pretty big roles, which I'm kind of at least glad to see that like someone who isn't in the majority isn't just like getting rotted out. Like, mind you, I think the series of Jurassic Park is getting a little dry, but that's okay. He still played it in big movies, even like Guardians of the Galaxy, which is probably one of the bigger movies that he's played in that entire series. He's playing Mario. And I don't know if I'm upset that he's playing Mario. Like, mind you, like I've seen people who don't play like their certain background or like, they don't play like the certain language that they're playing. Like Jennifer Lawrence, she played a Russian spy in Red Sparrow. She is not Russian to my knowledge. So I don't know where the backlash is coming from, like the angle that like, well, Chris Pratt's not Italian, doesn't have an Italian accent, but it's okay for Jennifer Lawrence to like play someone who's Russian who doesn't have a Russian accent. Like, at least keep the same energy, okay? At least do that for me. Can you do that for me, okay? Like, if you're going to shun one person, at least shun the other. But, like, if you're not going to do one of them, don't do it at all, right? So, Chris Pratt, under a lot of scrutiny for being an actor who is supposed to be playing an Italian plumber who is Mario. Mario has an Italian accent. And we know the classic Mario, like, ooh, it's me, I'm Mario. Like, we know what it sounds like, right? And they released a trailer of the new live-action Mario movie that has Chris Pratt, it has Jack Black, it has some pretty heavy hitters, like even Keegan from, what's his last name? The guy from Key and Peele. That's not Jordan Peele, but is Keegan. And a part of this is, like, there's a whole bunch of big actors and actresses a part of this movie, which would make sense. You have kind of, like, the main people. And they released this live-action trailer, and there's this one scene. It's, like, about a 5-6 second clip. And I'm not going to lie. There's two things that I'm upset about with this trailer. One of them, not only being the voice is a little off. Like, it sounds like somebody trying to dub, like, a show, but doesn't actually speak that language, right? But just, like, they spoke Spanish or Portuguese, but knew enough English to try and do it. or like somebody who's French but then tried to speak English but was dubbing a show. That's what it kind of sounded like. It wasn't convincing enough. My second problem with this is, and this is the same thing that Sonic the Hedgehog had when it first came out. When there was the first trailer, when poor Sonic had these little beady eyes that were like the size of a mask, instead of his giant oval-esque eyes that we're so used to. The eyes, like, I don't know. They just like move in this really odd, like, gooey, goopy self. Like, you know how our eyes, like, you know, like we could go cross-eyed and whatnot, but like if we look a certain direction, both our eyes move there. Our eyes aren't looking there and then going, ooh, and then looking at both at the same time. Like, that's what the eyes in this one are kind of doing, and it's a little off-putting. And on top of that, we have like the sprinkles that I didn't really want on the ice cream, but apparently I have Chris Pratt as my sprinkles, as an actor, voicing somebody who was Italian, but he's not Italian, and I'm not upset that he's playing it, but at least, like, maybe, like, learn a little bit of Italian, like, to have, like, a convincing accent to, you know, like, I mean, he's not speaking Italian, but he has an Italian accent, right? Which I guess is also up for interpretation of, like, well, he's just doing an accent. He's not speaking Italian, right? So there's that. However, I'm a little upsetty spaghetti that there's kind of like these goopy eyes, and they kind of just move on their own axis. They don't really move. And the eye color is kind of weird. Like, it's like red. I'm like, I don't know about that. Ugh. So yeah, there's that. And then also, speaking of movies, I really wanted to talk about this because this was just something that kind of came into my mind. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, we knew that he was going to be playing Black Adam. A super villain, it seems like. I don't really know. He's kind of like off-brand. He's like bad guy Green Lantern. Like, he just kind of like flies. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what also Green Lantern did. That was basically it. So, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or just Dwayne Johnson, is playing Black Adam. They started rolling out trailers for it. You know, stuff on TV, like, out October 13th. Like that stuff, right? And a part of it, it's just weird. Like, we know Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in certain things, but it's just also kind of weird. Like, he's played the Scorpion King. He's played in San Andreas. He's played in comedy movies. Like, it's just kind of weird. Like, this one just kind of is a little bit more weirder. I thought the Jungle Cruise was a little odd. But I'm also like, this Black Adam movie is a little weird. Just a little bit. And I'm probably not going to see the movie, unfortunately. But it just kind of is a little odd to me. You know? Like, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson now a superhero, like we all knew he was. Dwayne, my guy. I don't know why I'm saying my guy like I'm friends with him. I'm not friends with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's never answered my calls. Sorry. There's that. But, yeah, I just don't know how I feel about it. Like, I feel like really indifferent about, like, seeing him in this super tight, like, black suit, like, in cape, and just, like, fighting crime, or, like, trying to save the day, or, like, causing harm. It's like if Ashton Kutcher, like, played, like, something like Leonardo DiCaprio would do, or like Brad Pitt would do. Like, it just doesn't really make any sense, right? It just doesn't really make any sense. Like, Ashton Kutcher played like Steve Jobs. Mind you, he just looked like Steve Jobs. He was the only guy on the planet that looked like Steve Jobs, which I thought was great. He played a great Steve Jobs in that movie. But it was so hard because it's like he did play in the 70s show. And there is that precedent of like, oh, like he's a comedian. Like, he's funny. But he's also meant to play this very sentimental role in, like, the founding of Apple, to then launching products, to then kind of passing away from pancreatic cancer, which I think is how Steve Jobs died. I think that's how. And yeah, that was, yeah, just overall really just something that I off-putting again. There's been a lot of off-putting things in this podcast today, and I hope my hair's not one of them. Last thing, Hurricane Ian. I didn't get to talk about this last episode. It didn't really feel appropriate talking about rap stuff and music. But Hurricane Ian did land early last week, and a lot of stuff has happened. A lot of stuff has been, torn up. A lot of the area has been, decimated. I don't like using these words, but it's just simply what it looks like. And obviously, there's obviously Red Cross that always does like a lot of fundraising and charity work for recovery and relief for families affected, houses destroyed, communities impacted, which is just also the same thing all in one. But yeah, like it's just interesting because like I at least want to talk about it because like I feel like I never talk about like current events. But then when I talk about them, I feel like I have never anything to say. I'm just like, I'm like the news at this point. And I feel like I need to change it up because I just kind of feel like I'm like a news outlet, but then I don't really like have anything to like bounce off things with. Like I don't have a co-host. Like this is a solo show, like I'm not having a conversation with anyone. So that's always fun. But I'm also like wanting to at least apply myself in a way that I feel like I'm adding opinion, feel like I'm adding value to the conversation. And some topics are a little bit easier than others because like the Hurricane Ian thing, like in general, it's like, what is my opinion on it? It's just like I'm telling you kind of like what you probably already know. And this is just me venting now because I don't really know where to go from here. So with that, Nationers, you have reached the end of your destination. Episode 47, Nationers. I'm thanking you guys. Well, I don't know how I'm thanking you guys, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys support this podcast. It means a lot. My goal by the end of the year is to get 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And then after that, Nationers, we're going to get this channel monetized. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Episode 48 coming soon. Have a good one. 07. Peace.